Hey, 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 how you doing? What's going on? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tarot Flow Show, where synchronicity is the star. I'm your host, Alison Pickering. I'm here in Los Angeles with my partner, Kefri Skarabus, who is in Stockholm, Sweden. He's the student of all things spiritual, and we are here with our special guest today. But let's say hi to Kefri Skarabus. Welcome, Kefri. How you doing?
Thank you. Hi, I'm wonderful.
Good to see you. So it is about 9 o'clock at night. It's about noon here in LA. It's about 1, I'm guessing, in Colorado with our beautiful guest, the lovely, the adorable. Let's see who she is. We've had her here before. She's coming back for a return visit where she doesn't have to sit in her car. It's so much fun to visit with Laverne. She is a materializer of structure, meaning that she has been working in the construction world from her ground up for many, many years. She manages all kinds of people, keeps their life running, but in her private life, shall we say, in her own non-job world, she is a meditation teacher. She is an intuitive. She is an artist and a sculptor. She is so beautiful. And the office around her is kind of plain, but inside her beautiful soul, it is just flowery and gorgeous and wonderful. And that is Laverne POTURALSKI. Welcome, Laverne.
Thank you.
It's nice to see you again. I so appreciate your coming to the Tarot Flow Show. What's been going on lately in your wonderful life?
I've been doing some art, working on some meditation things. Things are starting to come together. New directions. Don't know where it's taking me, but I'm excited just to go and show up for me.
Wonderful. So we had a chance to work with tarot a little bit, obviously, on the last reading that we had here. Bring us up to date a little bit on spiritual things in your life. What's important to you lately? What have you been thinking about lately? What has been your just basically what, in terms of your internal life, has there been anything adventurous and exciting lately? Such a nosy question.
Not really. Just trying to put together the house and stay calm and peaceful in my day-to-day life. And really just taking ownership of who I am and my creativity and just being who I'm supposed to be, which is sometimes I just don't know. Yeah.
It's so interesting. Who are we supposed to be? Because like somebody else is going to tell us. We've got to figure that out for ourselves. And it's hard to listen to ourselves sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's lovely to have you here. And I appreciate your consulting the cards and consulting with us to see if there's anything that they have to offer in terms of a direction or some suggestions or some things that we haven't considered yet. Let's go for some fun stuff to start with. We're going to jump over here and just remind you that what we're going to do is just we're going to chit chat a bit. We're going to pick a focus card and see what's contained in our focus card. We're going to go ahead and do a reading for your consideration. And for anybody who is out there and wants to do more of this stuff, jump on over to AlisonPickering.com. We've got events and offers and travel and different things like that coming up. It is now November of 2024. It's September, but in November we're going to start debuting the Academy and some challenges with tarot, and so definitely check out what we have coming up if this is your cup of tea. So here's the major archetype of the major arcana. It's the Fool, that idea of the unmanifest spirit kind of being willing to jump into the human experience and see what all it contains for them. Here are the major arcana depicted, the other 21 cards. And I have 21 of those majors here in hand. And so what we're going to do for fun right now, at the beginning of our little synchronicity thing, we're going to go left brain and right brain. We're going to break down and itemize just the symbols on a particular card. This isn't the reading per se. It's just unpacking a card. So with a number between, let's say, 1 and 22, because we have 22 cards total, and I noticed that you have a 22-minute meditation. That's perhaps no coincidence. What number between 1 and 22 would be a good one for us to pick in these majors today to unpack?
I think number 8.
Number 8. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and card number 8 is the Temperance card. So let's
Mm.
take a look at the Temperance card as we bring the beautiful angel up to the stage here. So not fully of the other world, because the foot is sinking into the water. So there's a certain amount of, a human identity still, but with a wonderful purpose of Mars with those big red wings. And so you have the Mars on the wings. So all that energy of purpose and drive and that kind of energy that Mars bring. It can be warlike, but it's definitely purpose driven, purpose driven. And then you have the idea of sun on the forehead. So all of this, that your head is centered in the reality and in the source. Your head is right in like the middle of the tree, so to speak. There's the triangle on the breast indicating balance. The 3 times 4, 3 inside a square. 3 times 4 is 12. There's 80 million significant 12s in our lives. And the 3 of our 3 dimensions, the 3 of Trinity, the 4 of the cube of space that we're in our 3-dimensional world, all of these things. And then look, Iris in terms of transformation, the road toward the crown. The crown is at the top of the tree of life. What other chock full of symbols can we point out today in the Temperance card, Kefri?
This is about balancing, and this is about the 2 endpoints of a scale, actually, the polarization points, and each polarization point is in each of the cups, actually. And then we have the flow between the cups, and that is not water, it's actually energy. And one of the messages of this card is to don't position yourself inside one of the cups, because you should not be in one of the polarization places of a scale. You should be somewhere in the middle, because there is the balance, but you decide where the middle is, actually. So that's your decision. And also, to be able to decide that, you have to know where the polarization points is. And if we are translating that to something in reality, you have to know that there are both light and dark. You can't just be in the dark. You must know that, and you can't just be in the light. You must know also there is a dark, but you doesn't necessarily have to be placed yourself in that cup of the dark energy, if it is that scale we see in the two, between the 2 cups, so to speak. You should be somewhere in between the dark and the light, because there the balance is. And this card is also a lot about tests, hard tests, actually, where you will be educated by enlightenment of where the 2 polarization points are and where your middle point is. And looking at it in the tree of life, this is the spot in the tree of life that leads up to the ultimate balancing point and point that are full of spiritual light. So that is the tests before you can take the step into a spiritual contact with something higher, at the same time as you are staying in this reality and in this world, so to speak. That's a bit of the mysteries in this card.
Just a bit of it, and don't we go on and on, so it's amazing to contemplate how much is in one of these single cards. And just for the purposes of exploration a bit further, we've been talking about Tree of Life. Let's throw up a picture of that flower of life, if you don't mind, Kefri, just to show a little tiny bit there. So the flower of life, that's one image of the Tree of Life.
That's not that either. It's that one. Sorry.
There you go. So when we were talking about that sun on the forehead, that's like the yellow Sephira is in the middle there. And then the pathway that is the pathway of that Temperance card is right between the purple and the yellow. So it's right up the middle of the tree of life. The one that's on the bottom is the world card. And then from there, from here, like up to the source, which would be that crown that's depicted in the temperance card also, is the high priestess card. And so, you know that there's a little graphic on our group on Facebook, for example, and it's the first is the world. Then we have the temperance card, and then we have the high priestess card, and that's basically just depicting the path straight up the middle of the tree of life. And on this diagram, you can see, and this is a teaching diagram, it's not so pretty, but you can see that first little pathway that is pictured in black that he's circling is that world card pathway, which takes us up to like past the rainbow, over the rainbow kind of idea. And then from there, it's a bit of a hard test because you're going through the tower card, which is the bar across it, through the temperance. So that's the test, right? It's the testing of the temperance card, and often through some kind of an upheaval. And then through there is the wisdom of the high priestess. And so it's a path of balance because it's going up the middle versus going through the lessons on the right side, what we see as the right side of the tree as with the 4, which is the pillar of mercy. On the other side with the 5 and the Mars red is the pillar of severity. And all of those are viable pathways, but they're more extreme, shall we say, on either side, like that pendulum swing that Kefri was talking about. So this idea is acknowledging that there are extremes, but trying to keep yourself in peace up the middle, up the balanced path. And as a meditation teacher, I can't think of a better example of what all that would be, you know, in terms of trying to exit the world a bit, you know, be in the world but not of it while you're in that meditative state, to access the consciousness that you want to touch within it, which is that 6 or that Christ consciousness, shall we say, and then from there to whatever is behind that, which we can't really know, but once in a while we can get a big glimpse of. And so that's a very beautiful card to pick. And that was just a random pick with your number 10 or your number 8, I think it was, that we counted out. So that's lovely. And that card might pop up later in the reading. It's happened on a few of our readings lately, so that'll be fun. Let's take a look over here. We saw our majors, or we played a little game with our majors there. Our minors here. So let me go back and say, let's put up that temperance card again, Kefri. We didn't ask you, Laverne, you don't have to itemize the symbols because we've worked that to death, but in terms of a holistic, like a feeling tone impression, what do you think of when you see this card? Is there anything that comes to mind for you?
Actually, what I see is when I'm, receiving messages, I see myself grounded, kind of like an angel, but yet having the wings and the inspiration to see above me. And it's finding that balance between being human and sort of angelic.
Don't we have the best guests, Kefri? They're so brilliant.
Yeah. We have.
That's like the first time I've admitted this. So
well, and what a beautiful thing that you're conscious of that's something that you're consciously navigating in your meditation. Most people just sit down and trying to shut their little brain up, but you're doing something with rather the larger purpose. Good for you.
And then just the balance with the cups, not in the dark, not in the light, but just seeing both sides. And it seems like now in my life, I just want the balance. I don't want to go to one extreme or the other. I just want to be sort of neutral and stay calm when I'm upset or whatever, and just kind of ride through it. So no, this card is absolutely beautiful.
Wonderful. And of course, that card is the number 14 card in our major arcana. Let's find that temperance card is right here at the end of that second. And we've been talking about this second row as being kind of the lessons of adulthood. And so this is really a lesson of maturity. In terms of the temperance card, knowing how to handle with grace the different kind of tests and life experiences that we have to handle. You mentioned recently that a funeral for a friend that somebody went to, and that is for a friend's child. And so that there are huge tragedies, and they are sad, they are tragic indeed, but you can't sit in that energy all the time. If you're going to at least help yourself or help others, there has to be some kind of way to move yourself between the difficulties of life. It's kind of like that. The symbol of drama is the laughing and the crying masks. You know, the human experience has this range of experience, and it's such a roller coaster of times, and the objective is to kind of find your way to find your peace within those extremes, and so that's something I think we're seeing in that card as well. Let's take a look at our minors. As a reminder, these are the 4 suits of the minor arcana: the wands, the cups, the swords, and the coins. The 5-pointed star on the coins, or the pentacles, the pentagram on the pentacles, is to represent our 5 senses, or also the idea that we have 4 elements plus the element of spirit in this world of the flesh that the pentacles are representing, and the world of time that the pentacles are representing with that slow horse on the bottom. Let's go to the left from that pentacle. There's the up from our brains and up from our physical manifestation is our thinking and planning. That's the swords. There's our emotions and our feeling world. That's the cups. And then way up past, towards that crown that we can't really access intentionally, but it comes to us sometimes, and that's the world of the wands, and that's our values. Those are the things that motivate us, that intrinsic thing. We don't know why it turns us on. We don't know why we like it, but it does. It's our connection to ourself, but we don't control it really. So here's a quick bunch of images: the 10 and the 4 court cards on the minors of the wands, that fiery suit of inspiration, the cups, and then our swords, cool rationality, and then here in the earth. And you can notice the different kinds of symbols that are predominant in the cards, etc. That takes us to our reading that we're going to do with you today, Laverne. We're going to look at some kind of issue at the top, and you can tell us what we're looking at, or we can just see what the cards have to say. On the bottom, we're going to have a timeline: past, present, future, or first this happened, then that happened, then this other thing happened, and we're now looking at it in retrospect and getting some perspective on it with this large 7th card. And then we're going to get some advice. What should you be cautious about? Maybe better not to do this thing. And then over here, it might be better to do this to move everything forward most progressively, shall we say. So that's the process here. What questions might you have?
I have no questions.
Wonderful. I'm going to hand off to Kefri to walk us through the dealing process. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Alison. And I am shuffling, Laverne, and you can say stop where you want the stop to be.
Okay, stop.
There. And how many times do you want to cut the deck, if you want to cut the deck?
3 times.
3 times, thank you. 1, 2, and 3. And we are going to look at the subject card now in the middle, card in the top row there, and that's the Justice card. And we are going to look at the Past card in the bottom row there to the left, and that's the World card. And we are going to look at the Present card, and that's the 9 of Pentacles. And we are going to look at the Future card to the left, and that's the 3 of Wands. And we are going to look at this cautionary card, what not to do, and that is to the left, and that is the 2 of Cups. And we are going to look at the advice card, what to do, and that is the 5 of Swords. And we wait with the 7th card for now. And Alison will come back.
Well, that's an interesting, kind of an unexpected advice card, that doesn't seem like the default first choice for any of us, I think, in terms of advice. But let's go ahead and take this from the beginning. It'll start to reveal itself to us. Let's put up that Justice card. And here in the Justice card, Notice the open eyes. So when we have justice as a statue, oftentimes at the courthouse, it's going to have a blindfold over the eyes because the human justice is blind, but spiritual justice has the eyes open. So your eyes have been opened to some kind of a situation that does involve some legal structures. And so, or perhaps you've been made aware of a violation of some sort, or there's something that is just not sitting well with your sense of ethics and fairness. And okay, this looks to me like it could be a relationship reading, or a reading around a work relationship, or something that has previously been tight but is now ending. Okay, so let's take a look at the World card in the past. So with the Justice card, let's just be clear that this is not a willy-nilly decision. This is not something undertaken lightly. This is not something that is a flaky decision at all, or even, so solid thinking is evidenced here. We have two major cards, and so we'll see Kefri kind of decoding what words in Hebrew those might represent based on the majors. Each have a Hebrew letter, so now we have two. We can make a few words. The World card. Okay, you've learned what you need to learn. It's come to its conclusion. They might need you, but you don't really need them in the way that you had in the past. Whatever the lessons were in the Wheel of Fortune card, maybe you remember in the Wheel of Fortune that it looks the same in the four corners, but each of those figures, which are the fixed signs of the zodiac, which are the animals of Ezekiel's vision, etc., the angels, they all had a book. And so in the Wheel of Fortune, you're in the process of learning through the fates, but now in the World card, you're in the process of, it's been learned now. You've got the lessons of this particular episode. All of that is now in their heads. It's inside them now. It is complete. So whatever this phase is has wound itself to a conclusion. And let's look at that Nine of Pentacles, Kefri, because having concluded then your mission in whatever this circumstance is, you are in enough of a position now to either find another position or be able to survive on your own, in your own garden, with your own resources, in such a way that you don't have to be beholden to anyone else in this circumstance. And so now you are the queen of your own garden. It's a big responsibility, and yet you probably have saved money, or you have some other kind of resource that you can draw upon that is generative in some way, so that you can count on that, as well as to explore your own. There's a word that comes to mind, and it has a negative connotation, but it shouldn't, and it's dilettante, because it comes from delight. Diletto. A dilettanto is someone who does something from delight. And so now you are in the garden of your own earthly delights, and you can pursue your delights. You can now not pursue what you have to do because you have to put the bread on the table, but now you can pursue what you want to do because it delights you. And that's a fantastic transition to make, and it's a huge blessing. And in that way you can see, and I have never, by the way, noticed in this card ever before, the little house that's kind of under the tree on the right. And so there's the idea that there is not only a garden, but a home of your own to return to, and a structure for you to operate within that is not owned by anyone else and is part of your own, it's in your own purview. So then, as you move into the future with that Three of Wands, Kefri, we can then see or have a sense now of your surveying your own horizons to see, what have I put into motion? What is coming back to me? Have I made investments? Let's see what they're doing right now. Do I have anything that I can pull from there? What am I going to adjust? Is there travel I'd like to do? There's the idea of water. You're in the mountains. Perhaps you want to go to one of the coasts or go to a lake or do something like that. But there's this idea of your ships coming in. And so perhaps this is also the idea of you've worked for other people for a really long time, and now it's perhaps time to see what you, in your own view, what could you bring in for yourself? What could you pull in for yourself? What have you already set out in the morning of your life that is now coming back? What chickens are coming home to roost, so to speak, in all the good ways. And so, and all of this is centered around this justice figure. Kepri, let's look at that justice figure again. I just want to say that if people are like, what are you doing? Just know that you are not doing this lightly. You're not doing this out of a sense of escape or anything that is other than strong. This is a strong position you're taking. The square over the forehead shows the balance of your mind in this. This is all very 4-4-4 with the kind of squareness of the there's lots of squares in this card over the breast as well. And so the idea of strength of mind and of structured mind come in this justice card. So this is not something that you're doing like a flaky decision at all. What's interesting are the advice cards to me. And so let's look at the advice positive, if you don't mind, Kefri, because the advice positive on this, slightly counterintuitively, because this may not be your usual mode, but you're going to have to take a stance on this. Not you're going to have to, but you may choose to say, look, this is my right. This is my decision. I need to walk away from this. Or I need to assert myself because I am correct in this instance. You must recognize you must recognize my stance and walk away from fighting with me on this. It's your choice. It's your decision. It's probably an imbalanced circumstance, but your mind is clear. So the situation is temporary, but your mental state is good and reliable. And what you should not do in this case, and this is a very counterintuitive vibe on these recommendation cards. Kepri, let's put up that 2 of Cups. That 2 of Cups is saying, don't make sacrifices in the name of harmony. Avoid sacrificing yourself for the larger health of, let's say, the partnership enterprise. Do this for yourself right now. You kind of need to. The mutual, you've been supporting people your entire life, and that was healthy for them. But what's healthy for you at this time is to is to be yourself in both of those places and not put anybody else in that other robe. So you must take care of yourself. In this instance, not take care of the others. And so that's why we go back to that 5 of Swords card. And it doesn't matter which role you perceive yourself to be in, the walker awayer or the sword grabber. It's going to be a relief. They might cry, but you need to do it. And everybody knew it was coming. It's just a question of now is the time. The sun is setting and you have to make hay while you still have some light. And in this sunset of your life, shall we say, and you're still a young woman, but we all are counting, we all kind of estimate, well, if I live to 80, how much time would that give me kind of thing, to do what I want to do? Or, what do I have left to me? None of us knows. Memento mori. We could all drop dead tomorrow, God forbid. So it's time for you to decide on your own behalf at this point. Your powers of decision making need to be in the realm of survival, and not economic survival in terms of that you have to bring in the paycheck, but like sanity survival. Right. So that you values. Can live to values, exactly. Live to move in the direction that you truly want to go, which is a more golden direction than this blue-gray thing that's going on here. Although blue-gray this is the recommendation. So let's just say that you're going to have to push through the sharp feelings and the complaints of people who are used to your being nice.
Yes.
And they're used to being able to, you be a pushover because they need you so bad, you'll do what they need, and you just can't be pushed over this time. It's kind of, you ever see Arrested Development? There was a character in there had you couldn't push her over. She was like a fire plug, So in this one, you can't get pushed over. You have to sit tight, stand tall in your stance. And if they can't recognize your reasons, then you can just pick up your reasons and go with them. They don't have to take your reasons on, but
Right.
you have to stay with your reasons and hang on to them. The ones that you can leave behind, the ones that are not important to you, but the things that are important to you. And notice there are 3 in hand, and there are 3 in that 3 of wands at the bottom in your future. So the idea that you're going to leave a couple of things behind and you're going to pick up these big 3 and move forward into your beautiful sunset is the theme here. Kefri, that's what I have to say. I'm going to hand off to you. Laverne, you might want to respond, of course. I said you could say what we're looking at, but I just jumped in. So
no, we're good.
I'm
just listening. This is great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alison. I am going a bit deeper here, but I am staying in reality still, I think. And this is about balance with the justice there. And this is about higher balance when I look at these cards. And it's connected to the world card in the past, because I think that there have been some form of enlightenment or some discovery you have done, or something that you have been thinking about and working with, and then something has opened up for you that you have been able to see deeper into yourself or into something, or find a way for something. And that has actually been good, because you have been creating a sort of a foundation for yourself, actually. And that's the 9 of Pentacles here. And I think also, if we look at this picture wise, we have a falcon here that has his hood on still, but he can fly, actually, if the hood is taken off. And that, I get a feeling that could be a connection to you and something that you want to develop now, when you have been creating this foundation, so to speak, that now you are ready to go for it, so to speak. And we also have a little snail here in the front of the card that not many sees, but perhaps that is a message here that don't bother if you see that it takes time, because it's important to do it, actually, even if it has its time. But not starting will not give any development at all, actually. And the next card, the 3 of Wands here, is he is standing on a hill, that figure, and he has sent out his boats, actually. And I think that is what will happen when you go to action in this thing, actually. You will be able to send out something into the world, so to speak, and then it can return to you later, actually. And then it is this thing with this card, that when people are looking at your thing, they can think, oh yeah, she just have fun. She don't have any structure here. She doesn't know. She just improvises and so on. But that's not the truth, because you are very disciplined in everything you do, actually. And you don't do anything without a reason for it, actually. And you also know exactly which thing to be able to develop, so they stay in this reality, so to speak, so they doesn't fly away up on a cloud and burst, so to speak. So that's a thing here, and you can place your ideas and your ambition here and now, actually. but you also have a support from a higher force, or what we should call it, a spiritual force or something. And that is the balance here with the justice, because this is Archangel Michael, actually, if we look at it angel wise. And this is balance, and you can see the balance in the card also. And it is balance both outside and inside, and it is balance in reality and balance in higher grounds also. But then when we look at this cautionary card, that is also balance. But I would read it like this, that don't strive for balance, because balance will come when you do the right things, actually. So don't hesitate to do something because you can't figure out how to get the balance in it. Because if you feel that you should do it, then it's right to do it, actually. And this is the advice card, and I read that more to Alison has said that you can take whichever role of those three persons you want. And I would say also that there could come a time where you have had enough of something, and at that time it is the right thing to leave, actually, and pick up the ideas from that thing and the thoughts from that thing, and then take it further by yourself. Because you don't need the other tools in this card, because I think that you are the person in the foreground, actually. And I think that you can take up some of the things that you have been developing, but you can leave some of them, actually. And also the seventh card is quite logical here, because it is the 8 of Cups, actually. And it's again going back to that, leave when you feel it's time to leave.
So this is the idea also of having spent a lot of time in something, invested a lot of energy in something, but it's just not all there. You know,
Right.
it's not the whole package for you. And then that red, notice the red cloak on your justice card, and the red cloak on the 3, and now the red cloak on this 8. This
Wow.
is that energy of your own self-defense. It's Mars.
Huh.
So the energy of your own warrior self is mandating this move to other horizons, to higher ground. And so and notice that we can't see the face of this character, nor can we see the face of the 3 of Wands character. So it's not gonna, you don't necessarily know how that landscape is going to look, but you have an idea of it because you have planned something. You've set something into motion. The ships have gone out. You've already stacked all these cups, so to speak. So there's something that is close to your heart that you are still seeking. You're seeking for it to return to you, and then you also have to move toward it by not abandoning, because abandon has a lot of emotional charge to it, but it does feel that way to have to leave something that you have invested so much energy into. If it's a partnership of some sort, in terms of your future business might have been a partnership and now it's going to be a solo endeavor, then that's one decision that's difficult to make and can feel that 5. So another thing on that 5 is the idea of selfishness. People can sling that word at women especially and say you're being selfish, as if that was a sin. But then you can go on to Tony Robbins' world and listen to Matthew McConaughey do 7.5 hours on why it's spiritually fabulous to be selfish. And so that's your choice. But let's just say that that word can be interpreted many ways, because selfish with a capital S, when your true self, the one whose eyes are open in that justice card, the one who was foot in and out of the water in that temperance card, the one who's in the middle of that, going through that portal in the world card, that is the person who has the clear eye on what's important and necessary for their own survival. That warrior is not selfish if they are defending the cause. So you must be selfish to the cause, and the cause is your own self. So in that way, if somebody says to you, how can you be so selfish? You can say, because myself is important and I'm the only one defending it at this point. Something along those lines. And I must carry her forward to a place where she is better served. Something along those lines. And so that's and that can be a lonely journey. And it's also interesting with the red and the green and the brown. So the brown shoes are definitely of the world. So your feet are on the ground. Your feet are not in the clouds, okay? Your feet are solidly on the ground. The red and the green on the tree of life. I'm looking for my little cheat sheet card here.
The wheel of fortune
is the path of the wheel of fortune. So it takes a gamble. And this is between the red and the green. So, and how interesting. So between the red and the green,
I can show it here.
Isn't it this one here? Across
the red and the green, it's the diagonal here. Sorry, it's not.
And there it is, the justice card. Surprise,
it's
surprise.
the justice card.
From that red to the gold. Okay, red to the gold. And we see lots of red and gold in this card.
Yeah, because
and then we also see lots of gold and green. Red, gold, and green are predominant in this reading.
Yeah. And also we have this path down to the green, and that is the death card actually. And that is the leaving thing, I believe. And then we have the blue in some of the cards. We have it in the three of wands on the arm actually, and that is the wheel of fortune here going up.
So there's lots and lots to see here, Laverne. You're definitely working on a spiritual level. You're not, so even though you are like, you work a day-to-day job and for longer or for shorter, however long that's going to last, whatever the situation is, because this could be like a projected business partnership that we're looking at. And you are recognizing now that you would rather be solo than be in this partnership, perhaps. It may not be your day-to-day gig, but on the other hand, it could be time for you to have some freedom onto your own. That's for you to decide. Obviously, you know better than we do what's going on here, but know that 8 is a card of strength. So there is an emotional strength that is showing in this card as well. There is a mental maturity that is in your significator with that justice card, and there is a significant spiritual awakening that's depicted in the world card. And so there's a lot of real beauty. All, just you're a beautiful woman just to start with on the outside physically. We had a chance to meet you and see how wonderful you are on the inside before. You have so much beautiful work that you've done on behalf of others all throughout your life. And now perhaps it's time to serve the self, and seek your own, with this red cloaked seeker, to seek your own fortune, to seek your own wheel of fortune, to seek your own justice, to really define your own being to the world, other than as in service to other humans. How would you show or demonstrate your service to your larger angelic self as depicted in that temperance card thing? So you can still be a servant leader, but the servant you are serving is he who shines through your heart and you who shine through your own body. And so that's you. And you are seeking your best. You're on a pilgrimage to yourself.
Thank you.
Wow. There is Hebrew letters and Hebrew words here also. And there is one word and a group of words. The first word is interesting actually, because that is going from the justice down to the world, and I read that going from the top to down, and that is for me the spiritual ray that comes in, so to speak, in this process, and that those two letters take you back to the Tao actually. So it takes away the Lamed and the Tao stays, so to speak, and that is the world card actually, and the meaning of the world card is a cross. So there you have the spirituality actually in the form of a faith and in a form of a symbol of a cross actually. And that could be Christianity, it could be light, it could be what it can be, so to speak. But it is more of having a sort of a system for the spirituality, so to speak. So that is more of that thing that it is about having something to study and having something to learn, and also to help you keep faith, I would say. That's how I read it. And the other word or group of words then is going from the world go up to the justice, and that I see that is you looking up, so to speak. And there we have group of words, and everybody has to do with a hill actually, because it could be a tell, and that is in Hebrew a small hill, and a mound, and it could be a hill, it could be a hillock, it could be a heap, it could be a knoll, it could be a pile, and it could be a tumulus. So that's hills, all of them. And that's interesting because here you have in the eight also, the eight of cups, you can see he goes up to a higher, like he is stepping up a hill here actually. So that's like a mirroring here, I would say.
And also
And
that three figure, he's standing on a hill in an
yeah,
overlook. So that's the idea
yeah,
also of going up to get the kind of higher view. I read that, or no, an old teacher of mine talked about that one of the many symbolisms of the stacked pyramid in Mexico, the pyramid of the sun, for example,
yeah,
is the idea that you can go up to one spiritual level, and let's say that's the one level up, the astral level or something along those lines, and that you get a much higher view, but you can't see everything. You still have to walk around. There's still this idea of having to be in time and do all this, and then you go to the next level even more, but you can't. But now you have almost, maybe you have a 270 or so. Only at the very top can you then take in all of it in one, outside of time. You're still limited, I suppose, by the human, that's our problem. But the idea of getting a higher and higher perspective is in that, and you live in the mountains, so perhaps that's part of your daily hiking and your sense of spiritual reality anyway, is that the hills are alive with the sound of music kind of thing. So
yeah. And we have a hill here also actually.
yes,
in these
indeed.
two cards.
And in the nine, except everywhere except in the justice card, but that's
Yeah.
hidden by the purple veil. Let's look at that justice card just to be cute for a while here. The purple veil. What is the purple veil? The purple veil is the one right above us, between us and the yellow middle of the tree of life.
Yeah.
So this justice card is representing you right up next to the purple and with the other behind you. And so this idea of that path of the world card, and look at the world card right there. And what's the next card up from there? The one we pulled is the number 8, or whatever we counted out, that temperance card. And those are the ones that go right up the middle.
And we have the 9 here also.
That's the purples. Put up that flower of life one, Kefri, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I will.
Just because the colors are that much more vivid in that one.
Yeah, there it is.
And so look at that justice card with his back against the tree. And then those red and greens are in our little Malkuth as well. And, and so all of that pathway is just so beautifully depicted in you. When you pulled the temperance card by chance with a number, and then the world is right here. And then the justice is the one that is going from the yellow to the red. So you've got this arrow up there. So, and that's toward the Great Mother, by the way. The gray is Bina, the Great Mother. And the blue, I think you have in hand already, which is mercy, Hesed. That blue of the Guadalupe, the blue of the Mother, lots of blue in the spiritual reality, of course. And you're wearing blue, and I always see you in blue. So that's perhaps your color. So you're already draped in blue, and then spiritually you're draped in the red. And look how gorgeous that is with all of that yellow that's in your heart. You have all the primary colors. You are it. You are the creative force. And so recognize that within yourself and take the long view about what you can accomplish, which I think is quite a lot. And keep your eye on the prize, because you always have. So let your outside world align to your inside vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Mm-hmm.
You are quite the prize. No wonder they're fighting for you. They don't want to let you go. They don't want to let you go. My God, you're like the guiding light. So, but you can guide yourself.
Thank you. Wow.
So, love you, love this. Hope that it's useful for you. You can talk to it or not. We can put this up online or not. I'm so backlogged with shows and everything that it's really okay if you want this private, and I'm happy to put it up as well. So you let me know how you want to handle it after you've digested this a bit.
Okay.
And I'll send you the recording as soon as it's up. It should be up pretty soon. Might you have any questions? What might you want to say? What's happening on your end? Plus, we're probably right past your lunch hour.
Actually, this is just very it's insightful, because I feel that balance. There's turmoil, but I know that I'm a strong and brave woman. I know that I am, and I can take care of myself, especially in my work situation. And I will fight when I need to fight, but I will put down my sword when I need to. It's just very curious that it's this culmination of just trusting me and my gifts and making it come forward. No, it's beautiful. Thank you.
And there's that wonderful scripture from the Gospel of Thomas. If you like the Gnostic Gospels, what you bring forth from within you will save you. If you bring forth what is within you, it will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, it will destroy you. That's attributed to Jesus in the Gospel of Thomas. And so that you talk about bringing forth what is within you is your own saving, and that's a beautiful thing. And that's that gorgeous yellow that we see in every card here as a guide, plus the blue-gray, which is that great mother that we saw that's on that red pathway that is up from the middle.
So beautiful.
Yes, you are so beautiful. Thank you for joining us today. And Kefri, any final words before we say bye-bye?
No, I don't think. I'm just focusing on that that purple here and the yellow. That is exactly as it is in the tree of life, actually, with the purple spot and then the yellow spot above it, so to speak. So that's
The
also
love
mirroring.
from above. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's so gorgeous. So all the best to you, Laverne. Wishing you much success. I hope that our paths cross frequently, and I look forward to seeing what you bring forth.
Thank you so very much.
All right. We'll see you very soon. Thank you,
Thank
Kefri
you.
Scarabus. Thank you, Laverne.
Yeah,
And thank you if you've gotten this far, everybody. You're wonderful, and we appreciate you. All right. Take care. Talk to you later. And let's go ahead and bring a little music in and say bye-bye to Laverne and to Kefri. Bye, Kefri.